Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start the night off wildly by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, and the Tier 2 blue emote in a chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can put those emotes in the chat. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, you can just go ahead and lurk. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. But I will say this. I like an active chat. It's nice for me. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It is Saturday. It's June 1st, everybody. Happy Pride Month. Happy pretty much fucking summer. What are we talking about otherwise? Hello and welcome. I'm excited to finish it. I don't know if we're going to finish this model kit tonight. We're going to get a lot done because the F91 we have done the top half of. We've done the arms and the head and the chest of, and the backpack. We have not done the weapons for the kit yet, which we will get to. And I have done a foot and part of one leg. So I don't necessarily think I'm going to finish it tonight. I'll probably finish it up on Monday during Monday's stream. I know what I'm building next. I'm going to triple check this, but I believe my $10 patrons on June 1st, they already got into it. They're already like, Pat, this is what what you're going to be building next. Yes. They did vote, and I know what I'm building next. It's a Lego set. I'll tell you that. I'm building a Lego set next, and that'll be fun. I love building Lego, and it's a 3-in-1, which I enjoy very much because you get to build a couple different things, and it's the most bang for your buck when it comes to Lego because you get to build 3 things for about the price of like one thing, really. Sometimes the second and third are small, but you usually get one good size build out of it and 2 smaller builds. I hope you're all doing well tonight. I will say the last week of streams has been a little light, and that's obviously not your fault because you're here. And if you're watching this later on a VOD here on Twitch or on my YouTube VODs, I would love it if you watch live, but I understand that 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time, 4 days a week isn't the most convenient. It's not the best time for a lot of people. If I stream in the afternoon, I'm able to grab a few more of you, or earlier in the evening, or later in the evening for other coasts. I could probably reach a few more people, but these times work well for me and I enjoy them, so we're sticking with it for now. I wouldn't change just to find out if a different time would benefit me more. But I would change if I needed to. I guess that's kind of the philosophy. Anyway, it's a new month. If you want to become the first person to gift a sub this month and join the gift sub leaderboard and be right at the top, you can do that. We are currently at 38 subscribers. The goal is to get to 50. I shut up at 50. And while we go to the overhead for the F91 and start working on the legs, I'll tell you that this goal is going to drop down to 44 around my birthday because that will be the first goal of my subathon. I don't have a graphic up for it yet because it's too early and I haven't made one, but I will make a graphic for it. So we did part of the leg here and a foot, and then we were going to build the we can do parts of these legs at the same time because they are symmetrical. So we can just build it all at the same time here, which we'll do now. But yeah, my first goal will be 44 because that'll be my age. So on June 21st, I'm going to be doing a subathon. It's a Friday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it will run probably about 4 hours. Generally, my subathons have been about 4 hours. And the goal is, there will be a goal. I don't have it set yet. I don't know how many subscribers I want to hit. I think 88 could be kind of fun, like double my age. That could be kind of neat. So, but I can tell you that 44 is going to be like the first unlock. Like, I'd like to get to my age in there. And then I think like 60 might be the next one. And then something, I don't know. But I'm going to scale back because my January subathon, the early year subathon that I did this year, did not hit as hard as I would have liked. Would have liked that to hit harder. We did not reach the goal. And I think we only hit like 2 of my goals. and that was kind of it was fine because it was still a fun stream. But I want to aim more reasonable. I want to scale back a little bit, try to make them accomplishable goals. Like, I think there's no like, what word am I looking here? There's nothing wrong. I'll just say that there's nothing wrong with having reasonable goals. So that stream will be a mix of different things. There will be some wrestling. There will probably be some Hearthstone. There will be like 2 different kinds of wrestling, like wrestling video game and wrestling watching some wrestling. And, you know, I haven't decided what will be. Like, Hearthstone will probably be the thing I play no matter what, just because it's nice to have something that I'm like, I know I'll be able to do this, so I'm just going to say that we're starting with wrestling, and then we'll see where we go from there. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Okay, I need 4 and 5 here. 5 is going to go on later. I'll go over there, and then I need 4 here. That. But yeah, I've got plenty of time because, like I said, that stream is going to be on the won't be until the 21st of this month, and it's only the 1st, so it's 20 days away, and which is not, you know, too far. You know, I'm going to have to like figure some stuff out that I'm going to be doing for it and prepping for it, but like I shouldn't pretend like I've got all the time in the world, but it's also not like right around the corner. I do have time to prepare, is what I'm saying. So, okay, so this is going to be, these are A4. So I got to put this peg here, and I got to put this polycap down here, and I got to clean up this polycap because I got to nub it on here. A little extra on the polycap, so I got to make sure I clean those up, because it will sometimes cause a huge problem if not. So yeah, that's the plan anyway, is to prep for that stream. I will still have some fun on Tuesdays this month. This month, sometime in the month of June, will be another episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club Live. I will do another live episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club for the end of the year. My guess is I'm going to be doing that on the 18th. So, you know, 2 weeks and change. Because I think, yeah, because I have, wait, let's see. I have a Pat Baer's Anime Club coming out the 10th, and then I would need another one on the 24th. So I do that on the 18th. I have to figure that out because that might be too early in the month. I have to see, because I believe July is when new shows are going to start, but putting out something last week, that'd be okay. Honestly, sometimes I like to finish like a full, like as many parts of the seasons as possible, and finish up as many episodes, I should say, of the seasons before I do it. But this season is so weird and not particularly great that like the standouts I can just talk about now, and like there will be, you know, there'll be a little downtime where I can check out a few shows that I haven't finished, but I don't know. This month or this season, I just don't know. We've had banger after banger after banger of anime seasons. We've been blessed. 2023 was fucking buck wild when it comes to anime. So like, I'm kind of okay with having a bit of a dud season now and again. And I do think, it is my opinion, that this season is a bit of a dud. Like, the highs are pretty high. And like, the stuff that started late has been pretty strong. This season of Demon Slayer is pretty fucking good. It's kicking off. It's really kicking off. And this season of My Hero Academia is going to be rough in a good way, a good rough. So like there's stuff to like. But a lot of the new stuff just didn't hit me this month. The shonen's been good. And I'm you know, I mean, I just rattled off 2 shonen, but I'm not the biggest shonen boy. in the world, but I am enjoying 2 of those. I think the isekai were really disappointing, not in the content of the isekais, but in the execution. A lot of Studio Dean third-rate animation out this season. So a lot of like shows that would be fine if, you know, in another studio, look like absolute dog shit and then aren't particularly interesting stories. Like the show that got the most energy put behind it is Remonster, which sucks. It is like edgelord bullshit. So it does really suck that that show is the one that seems to have the most money put into it. But like Newgate, which is a fun manga, looks like absolute trash. Chillin', it's Chillin' 30s with the whole 2 super cheats, whatever it is. There's a super cheat show that like looks okay. It's all right. I don't know. There's just Unnamed Memory looks like ass, and that sucks because that's a fun manga as well. Like there's just a bunch of stuff that unfortunately just doesn't look good. And one of the queer shows this season didn't get picked up. It's a whole show that we just aren't checking out. And it's maybe not actually queer, but it is about a band, and that just didn't get picked up at all. I don't know. Very few shows don't get picked up these days, but when they do, it's kind of noticeable. And I could find some bad translations of it if I really looked, because it is being subtitled in a couple languages, which means that someone has done a very shitty, poor speed translation of it using AI that like doesn't look great, but you know, it's enough for the diehards. And I'm just like, nah, I think I'm okay on that. All right, we got to panel line this, but I'm going to put on everything we need to put on here, and then also throw the stickers that need to go on. There's a sticker that needs to go on the back, and we'll do that, and then we'll panel line it. But we'll also put on these things here. B7. Let's see. Today, I did not a lot. I'll admit. Didn't really do too much. Got out of the house a little bit, did some exercising, took a car ride to pick up some pizza. That was nice. B7, why can't I find you, B7? About pizza. Let's talk about it, all right? I have my entire life been spoiled for great pizza. I grew up in Connecticut. And, you know, hey, as a kid, I certainly ate whatever was put in front of me. I ate a lot of panned pizza from Pizza Hut and Domino's and all kinds of stuff, right? I ate a lot of that stuff. I don't have a big problem with that. If that's the only pizza you eat because of where you are in the world, like, I totally understand that. Or if that's just like, that's comfort food for you, I am a big proponent of comfort food. You do you. You live how you want to live. No judgment there. But as I grew older, we started eating really fucking good pizza in Connecticut. We were near New Haven, so we were getting Worcester Street pizza. We were getting, there was some really incredible pizza like one town over from us. Our local place wasn't bad. It just wasn't particularly great, but you didn't have to go far to get very good pizza. Just like unbelievably tasty pizzas of all different kinds, but especially Worcester Street pizza, which was just phenomenal, and some of my favorite pizza that I've ever had in my life. And then I moved to Albany for a year, and I did not have good pizza. And that was the first time that I had moved somewhere that did not have good pizza. And I was devastated is not the right word, but I was bummed the fuck out. I was bummed the fuck out with like middling pizza. I never had so much middling pizza before. The best pizza place near me in Albany was dog shit. At that point, and like even if I was gonna spend money, I couldn't get anything good. So at that point, you just get whatever you can. You get like grocery store pizza, and you make the best of it you can. You get, the frozen pizza stuff. You start going to places that you've heard good things about, and then you are sorely disappointed by those places. And I dealt with it. Then I was back in Connecticut for a bit. Good pizza again. Hell yeah. Had my fill of good pizza. Then I moved to New York, and holy shit. I went to all of the good places. I got all of the good pies. I even went to Staten Island, not just for pizza, but while I was there, I also got what was considered one of the best pizza places in New York at the time. And I fell in love with great New York style pizza. And then also, shitty New York pizza is still fucking good. That's the thing that, like, I think people, when they talk about, like, oh, the best places, and oh, you want to go here and you want to go here, and well, this place doesn't do by the slice, so you got to bring people with you, and you can get this and there. It's like, there's so many pizza places in New York you just walk into, and I'm not talking about like the dollar slice places, because that's cardboard with pizza flavoring. Like, that's not good. I'm just talking about like a place that just says like Mario's Famous Pizza, and you're like, whatever, Mario's Famous Pizza, and you're just like, this sounds terrible. Sure, I'll eat this, whatever the fuck this thing is, I'll get it, sure. And it turns out to be like some of the best pizza you've ever had in your life. And it's like, oh, okay. Oh shit, I'm living well here. But yeah, late night, you're walking towards the subway, pizza is still unbelievably great in New York. $1 slice off the street was still top 10% pizza I've had. Yeah, I'm John. I mean, hi, I'm John, I should say, as well. But yeah, I mean, some of the worst pizza I had in New York is still really good. I have had in New York bad pizza, because you get bad pizza. Not even just like the $1 like five. I think it was like two brothers. I believe is like a chain of dollar. It's been a while, unfortunately, as you know, since I've been pizza hunting in New York. But there was still some stuff that I liked, and I still had a good time getting my pizza and doing my thing there. Okay, let's panel line this, and then you know what? There are other stickers. Let's put on 16, which is the front. 14. Wait, what number do I need here? 14. I need 14. All these little arrows here. So I got really used to very good pizza. And again, I would still get Domino's, because sometimes like wrestling would be on, and I just wanted shitty pizza. I wanted a good amount of shitty pizza. And so you would get, you'd still get Domino's or whatever, because you wanted to feed a bunch of people, or like, pizza parties and stuff like that. Sometimes people would they would buy cheap so that you just had a lot of pizza and you just deal with that. My second theater that I worked at in New York was next to Two Boots. Two Boots is a pizza chain. One of the boots is Italy. The other boot is like Louisiana, because that is where the founders were from. And so it's weird, like American pizza. They would have weird specials, and they would name it after like actors and movies and bands that they liked. One thing I really loved was they had all the different meats, and they named it at first Animal Collective, because that's a Brooklyn band. So they made it their Brooklyn special. And then the members of the band were like, we're all vegans. Thank you, though. So they named a vegan pizza after them, and then named the Animal Collective something else. And it was like, yeah, all right. But they had a tomato pizza, like with like big slices of tomato, and then something else on it. I can't remember what it was, but they called it Mr. Pink. Like, it was that kind of thing from Reservoir Dogs. Like, I would get that pizza, and that pizza was tasty as hell. So I'm here in South Carolina, as many of you know, and we found a place, my parents and I, My parents did a lot of research. They ordered a lot of pizza from places that were not that great. One of the places closed, which is excellent because they were making very bad pizza. They made some other stuff that was pretty good, but they could not make a good pizza. We found a place, and the owner used to work Worcester Street. He used to work, I don't know if he worked for Sally's or Pepe's, but he worked for one of the two. And look, is it the same? No. But is it the best pizza I've had down here? Yes. You do have to ask for it extra crispy because by default, they are not leaving it in the oven long enough for our liking. But if you ask for it extra crispy and they actually do it, it's great. Is it the same? No. When I was in New York a couple years ago, when I went up for a week, I had good pizza again. And I was like, yep, this is what good pizza tastes like. But it's okay. I had it tonight. I'm still happy that I had it. It's still pizza at the end of the day. If it's not the best pizza in the world, it's still pretty good. So I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. Oh yeah, so these legs have vents in the back. They plop down like that, and there's a little peg here that you pull, and then you can straighten them out. And then boom, you've got yourself some fins, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna make sure I panel line around that so that I can open these up and they look nice. Down. But yeah, had some pizza today. Very happy with that. We get pizza every now and again. We don't get Chinese food as much as I would like. There are 2 Indian restaurants near me, and both are rated very poorly. But I don't know if they're rated very poorly because they're bad Indian places, or they're rated very poorly because the local populace around here doesn't know what fucking good Indian food is. Like, I can't tell because, like, some of the reviews are very clear. Oh, this is somebody that, like, they have one idea of what Indian food is and didn't meet it. But other people just like complaining about like, I don't think they know what naan is. Like they don't seem to understand that there are different kinds of naan. They only make one kind of naan in this place. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting that. Like if I'm going to an Indian place, I'm getting a curry and I would like at least 2 different kinds of naan to rip and then dip into that curry. And like, if you can't do that, like, I might be out of this place. We might be good. We might be done here if you're not going to be able to give me a couple different kinds of naan. Like I don't go bonkers when it comes to Indian food because I can't stand the heat. Like my body can't handle it. I didn't grow up that way. I wish I was better at it, but there's still. I would love that. That's the number one thing. There's a Japanese place around here that's good, that's solid, and I can get a bunch of noodle dishes that I really like. We haven't been there in a while. I'm going to try to get us there soon. Not for my birthday, though. One thing this area is good for that New York was never the greatest at is Mexican food. New York, there are places in New York to get good Mexican. There's not a lot of cheap good Mexican in New York, but there is good Mexican if you can really find it. And down here, there's some good Mexican. So we found that, which is excellent. We're going to go there for my birthday at the towards the end of the month. We'll go and get solid ass Mexican food, and I'll be happy about that. Get a few different things. Get something with some rice and homemade taco chips and homemade salsa and a bunch of other shit piled up. And I'll probably get, I'll probably get some enchiladas. I might get like a steak quesadilla because I do love a good steak quesadilla. A few different things. Maybe some flautas. You know. Whatever I can get my hands on. But I will eat well when that comes. I don't know. The Chinese place that is, not the closest one. This is the good thing. The closest Chinese place to us is not good. But there is one that is a step above that we get that I enjoy. I would get that more often, but we don't get over there as much. But we do have within driving distance, easy driving distance, like a good um, Chinese place. So that's nice. And then, like, honestly, if we're down here, like, there's a lot of seafood where I'm at here in South Carolina. I am near a lot of seafood. That is not my jam. That is my mother's jam, though. So my mom eats very well down here because there is a lot of seafood for her. And that's great. There are some seafoods that I don't hate, so even some that I enjoy, but I don't love seafood the way my mom does. So she's living well down here. There's plenty of barbecue. Here's one thing I didn't realize. This area, anyway, pretty big on barbecue, but not big on chicken. Even chicken wings or even like roasted chicken, like even if you were gonna like barbecue chicken, like not really. And then especially fried chicken. There's like this area in South Carolina just does not have chicken, like fried chicken culture. There's like one place that has a fried chicken sandwich that I really like. And it's annoying. You go to like a barbecue place and they're just like, they don't even have roasted chicken, let alone the fried chicken. And it's annoying because I love fried chicken. That is a thing I definitely miss about New York is access to good fried chicken because there was plenty of it. Because a thing about New York, as I said, other than sometimes they did not have enough Mexican food that was to my liking. If you want to eat just about anything else, you could find it. Always a plus. All right, this is gonna look this here. I don't know why this doesn't connect right, but it doesn't. There it goes. Okay. All right, we are done with the leg, and it won't take much to do the other leg, and then we got to do the waist after that. Put that over there, and here's the components we did, and now we can build the other foot because we did one foot. We got to do to other foot, and we'll get that done. Hey, Google is pausing. Google's pulling back a little bit. They're not quitting AI bullshit, but they are pulling back a little bit. You may have heard about how they were ruining search by adding some AI-generated answers. At least in the US, they have been working on this technology here. AI overviews, which was not, certainly in my opinion, like you go to a Google search page, you type something in, and you get a result. For some people, I don't think they were investigating that fully to go like, well, where's this from? What's the source? All of that. They were just looking for an answer, and they would take their answer. But because of some of the sites that Google was pulling for said answers, they were pulling misinformation in some cases, and in other cases, jokes. They were just pulling jokes from websites like Reddit, just people like saying dumb shit on Reddit. Glue on their pizza was one that came up. Barack Obama was a Muslim is another one. And they're working on restrictions because some of the answers were not helpful. And in fact, they had this whole video. Yes, John, I know, right? They had this whole video where they were like, here are the kind of questions you can use. And it turned out that like now, if you type in those, like most of the ones from their example video, if you went and it's like, oh, I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to use these, they will not return overview. They will still give you information, but they're basically going to pull back and revamp like all AI. Once put into practice, you start to realize, oh, this shit can't do rhyme or reason. Duh. See. I'm looking at a Washington Post article here. Let's see. Google, whose employees invented much of the underlying tech breakthrough AI tools like ChatGPT, has been trying to prove to investors, consumers, and its own employees that it's still the most important player in the industry. So that's kind of like why they put that out there, because they're like, oh no, we're doing this shit. And AI generated answers, right? Because Google is known for, Google is known for Gmail. Let's not get it twisted. But it's also known as the search engine people. And, part of the reason the internet is the way it is today, derogatory. But, they're still the search engine people. So basically the idea was like, the tech is supposed to, hey, Lord Crashington, the AI, this AI tech from Google is supposed to just like read a bunch of websites that you would otherwise just link to people and then summarize it. And, a bunch of people were like, hey, this sucks. Not just because the technology is bad and you're going to give people misinformation, but also because instead of sending people to us, you're just summarizing what we've already put out there, and then you're just cutting us out of it, which, of course, sucks ass. And then they're like, basically when people are like, hey, this seems busted. How did you get this far with it being busted? And they were like, well, we tried to test it, but turns out we just like didn't, we didn't have enough test data for it because they hadn't put it in front of enough people. There's nothing quite like having millions of users, people using this feature. And I should say, that's not a good excuse. Like, you should test it in front of a wide variety of people before you make a lot of claims. That is one of the fundamental issues with this version of these kind of machine, quote unquote, learning, because even that term is terrible. These like chatbot tools. Yes, they, Lord Christian, I said that before you got in, but yes, that they don't understand. Like that the reason why they've pulled back on overviews is because in some instances they don't understand the context of things and they're just giving misinformation. And in others, they don't understand jokes or fake information at all. And sometimes they're making assumptions on things. They're trying to summarize, but even summarizing things like, yeah, like, hey, your number one resource for this shouldn't be Reddit. Even if it is a very technical subreddit where people are really in depth and it's full of experts, like that still shouldn't be your number one source because it's not credible. Or, like, come on. Very simple stuff that you would like assume Google fucking understands, but again, it's an arms race and they got to get out there and show that they know what they're doing, because the alternative to that is people going like, shareholders, not people, shareholders going like, well, you're behind in AI, and they having to be like, yeah, because it's fake. It's not real. Yeah, lots of it was fucking concerning. Let's see, was there another thing I wanted to say here? Apparently they've been testing AI answers and they thought it was time to move it forward, but no, it was not time to move it forward. They done fucked up. Let's see, gaming news stuff here. Toys for Bob is working on its first game that will be indie. And they are working with Microsoft. Oh, Lucretia says, those posters should have gotten some money for fucking up Google's AI with their bullshit. I mean, yeah. No, remember, because anything you post on Reddit belongs to Reddit. So Reddit would ask for money, not users. You post stuff on Reddit, they can just sell that stuff to AI companies, which is what they're doing. But yeah, you may remember that Toys for Bob survived by branching out. They left, they disassociated themselves as a Microsoft company, but are gonna have Microsoft be their publisher. So they are an independent company, but yeah, they're not gonna really talk about what's going on. But yeah, Microsoft is a publisher. It's very early in development, so they're not really getting into much of it. But yeah, when Toys for Bob left Activision Blizzard in February, they were like, we'd love to keep working with Microsoft. And so that apparently wasn't just lip service, that was the plan. So Microsoft is going to be publishing their next game, which is good. Good for them. It's a good piece of news in video games, so I felt like I should at least talk about it. But yeah, we don't know what it's going to be. And they are excited to work on something that is not being a support team for Call of Duty, which is what they had been doing, which led to them looking to get out of their deal with Activision Blizzard, because they became they're the Crash people and the Spiro people. And of course, a lot of those people have been long gone for the company, but they're looking to do some stuff. Oops. I dropped a piece. I'm getting that piece. Got that piece. We also don't know if it's going to be a Microsoft exclusive, but Microsoft is the publisher. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Microsoft wouldn't want it to be published somewhere else as well. And I think it's just more like we don't know. They'll tell us when they're doing their ad shit, when they're in promotion mode. But yeah, I don't know. That seemed cool. I'm glad they found a publisher, because that shit is not easy these days. So to even be able to find one is awesome. So good for them. Good on you, Toys for Bob. Happy that something was working out. All right, and we are now... I do need a panel line the top of this leg, so we will do that. But we are also almost ready here to... Whoops. Ankle is annoying. We're almost ready to put this in there. Great. So we just got to do panel line the top of this leg, and then we can move on and work on the waist. Let's see. Other news stuff. I'm going through my news. Bloober Team. You may know Bloober Team as making horror stuff, and then also, they are currently working on a Silent Hill 2 remake. They are dealing with their previous publisher. They had a publishing deal for a while now. That has ended. Because 2 years ago, Bloober Team entered an agreement with Private Division, which is an offshoot of Take-Two, to publish its next game. And then word kind of came out that that was no longer the case. Bloober Team is... we're going to start self-publishing it. But yeah, basically they were like, yeah, okay, Project C, which is what they're calling it right now, doesn't currently have a publisher, so we're going to self-publish, but we are going to look for a new publishing partner. So they are now in the hunt for a new publishing partner. And basically Private Division is refocusing after closing a bunch of stuff. But they are basically, Take-Two laid off 5% of their workforce and cut and slash budgets everywhere. So it makes sense that a unannounced original idea from even a team that has hit really well, you can kind of see the writing on the wall with stuff like that. And they also have another project for Skybound that they're working on, a Skybound property, which we don't know what that is right now. But it's going to be a horror game, because I don't know why you would hire Bloober Team to make something that isn't a horror game. So I would say it's probably a horror game. It would be wild to be like, hey, we want you to make something else. Let's see. Fallout 76 gained a... so there's been a bunch of chat here, right? There's a bunch of chatter when, like, the Fallout TV show did well in people's minds and hearts. People liked it. Some people didn't, and I'm not here to say everyone liked it, right? It wasn't universally loved, but it was enjoyed by a lot of people. And so some people were like, hey, why don't we play a Fallout game? What Fallout game would I play? You know, and maybe people will be like, I want to play Fallout 4, or I want to play Fallout New Vegas, or maybe I want to play Fallout 76. Yes, Lashbrook, there are certainly people that would argue, why would you hire Bloober Team at all? But those are fans of horror games, not publishers or license holders, because license holders would love Bloober Team to make a horror game based on their properties, because that's what they are known for making, even if they aren't loved by a lot of people. That is still, some people would say that on the internet because those people are not making those decisions, and they probably know better than random people with money, but that's not how anything works. Unfortunately, not how any of that works. But yeah, apparently, even before the Fallout game, Fallout 76 was at 17 million in December and has grown to 20 million players. But certainly has had a boost. And in mid-April, everything kind of grew. And in April, 76 hit its highest Steam player base ever. And it seems that, like, yeah, a lot of people decided that was the one they were going to give a shot because it's the newest one. And good for them. Yes, yeah, yes, Lord Crash, the 76 is... Yes. 3 million people deciding since December they wanted to try it makes that game not niche at all. That's the thing that I keep hearing from people, is that Fallout 76 is a niche game. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's mainstream. It's a mainstream game because games don't set... A couple games sell incredibly well. Most games don't sell well anymore. Not since the pandemic. Games sell, but those games are like 4 things. So 3 million people deciding that since December, yeah, you know what? I want to check that out. Makes it not a niche game. So yeah. Todd Howard was like, it's been sneakily popular for a while. The joke is that Microsoft labeled it as a niche in their argument for why it's on PS4 and not an Xbox exclusive, even though it had reached 13 million players at that point. Okay. Yeah, no, Microsoft, I don't give a shit about that. Microsoft says a bunch of lies because everyone had a narrative so that a huge deal that shouldn't have happened could happen. And Lord Crash, I'm not yelling at you. I just don't give a shit about what Microsoft says, like, at all. So that joke didn't hit me because that bit of information didn't register in my brain or stay in my brain. But also other people besides Microsoft have said that. Someone was arguing with me that Fallout the Fallout TV show didn't do anything. It didn't help anyone because it was on Prime. And if it had been on television, then it would have been a bigger deal because they are a dumbass. And I was like, so one, a lot of people, there are plenty of people that have Amazon Prime that don't watch anything on it. They don't watch anything on it. They use Amazon Prime to save on shipping because they buy a lot of stuff online. And I am not trying to discount that, but there are plenty of people that do watch things on there. And also, that show was very successful and it was in the zeitgeist, which is a hard thing for any show to do that. So the fact that it did that brought in some people that are unaware, and then it clearly worked in that people went and played the video games. Because like, I know at least a few people were like, oh, well, they played the video games because they were free. If you have, you know, from Twitch Prime, you could just play them. And I was like, oh, you don't know how few people do that. You don't, like, the number of people that link their Amazon account with their Twitch account is minuscule. And then the number of people that have done that mostly do that so they have that free subscription for somebody. They don't follow up with then downloading games through Twitch to play on, to play in, you know, Epic Game Store or Steam or wherever. Most of people that have that have never done that and will never do that because to them, it's just not a thing that they think about. So yes, there were some people that got some Fallout games for free, but that does not explain the bump in people playing Fallout games. Yes, Lord Crashing, they don't make it that easy because it doesn't matter to them if it's easy or not. It's just there. It is another thing that most people don't take advantage of. It's fine. It's just a thing that exists, and they're not like bothered by the fact that they're not bothered by, oh, not too many people take advantage of our free shit. Yeah, they don't mind it. But like, apparently, like, you know, according to Variety, daily players for the wide franchise is at 5 million. So 5 million people on any given day are playing a Fallout game. And that's not just because of the TV show, but it certainly is in part because of the TV show. Because it's also a snowball effect, right? People that haven't played it for a while are checking it out. People that are like, okay, well, what Fallout 1 mods do I need if I want to play Fallout 1? What Fallout 2 mods do I need? And then there are people that are like, oh, you have this package and you can do this and you can do that. And there's, if you don't want to do Nexus mods and a mod manager, you can go to this site and they will grab everything you need in a packet and you can download all of it and put it in a directory and then launch your game in Steam and boom, you got Fallout New Vegas with all the good mods and it's updated in a JSON file. Like, sure, that sounds rad. And a lot of people aren't going to do that because they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. I want to play the Fallout game. Does it run on my laptop? It does? Great. I'll play that. I want to play a Fallout thing. Oh, this is kind of fun. Oh, this is like an MMO. This 76 thing is kind of like an MMO, but Fallout. Okay. Oh, I start in a vault. Hell yeah. Like, whatever. Wait, is this West Virginia? Cool. And there you go. And they didn't play it when there were no NPCs. And now there are NPCs. So it's even more of an MMO. So they're getting all that good stuff. It's like, yeah, makes total sense. And of course, they're not fucking talking about Fallout 5. People want to know about Fallout 5. They're not talking about Fallout 5, and it's fine. We don't know the next time there's going to be a Fallout game. I am very surprised there wasn't a new version of a Fallout Shelter, like another kind of Fallout Shelter game. I'm surprised there wasn't something that launched that played up stuff from the TV show, because to me, that's a no-brainer, but also, like, you know, maybe it was more successful than people anticipated. We don't know. But with apparently the TV show being canon, it would make sense. I really thought there'd be a Fallout Shelter again, something like that. Some kind of mobile thing. But maybe Bethesda's not looking at mobile stuff at all these days, and that's not surprising or shocking. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people playing it, and that's kind of cool to me. In labor news, you may remember that because they were trying to get Activision, Microsoft went as far as to say that they were going to be a labor neutrality agreement with people that were trying to unionize with Activision Blizzard, that they would follow the laws and they would not try to stop any unionization efforts, right? So that means that also includes Microsoft now also has to have a labor neutrality agreement with ZeniMax Workers United. So now the folks at ZeniMax Workers United can organize and decide to form unions without interference or intimidation from management, because basically Microsoft said that they would be neutral because they didn't want any red flags, any more, I should say, red flags as they were, or deal breakers as they were trying to acquire Activision Blizzard King. Let's see, which is good news. They first signed an agreement for Microsoft did with Raven Studio and Blizzard Albany. And of course, it should be stated that with Blizzard Albany, Activision Blizzard tried to stop it. They union busted. And now the ZeniMax Workers United, established in 2023, and it was voluntarily recognized by Microsoft from the start, basically, because they, didn't want any trouble. And some contract workers have been brought into the union with full-time positions, which is great. And then the CWA has backed, basically, they were like, the unions were like, okay, well, the unions found themselves in a position where they were like, well, we like that Microsoft isn't being an asshole, where Activision were assholes, but also you laid a bunch of people off, and we don't love that, and we're never going to love that. It would be great if you didn't lay people off and close things. And then Amy Pannoni, who is the Microsoft's legal vice VP, said that Microsoft continues putting our labor principles into practice. We appreciate CWA's collaboration in reaching this agreement and look forward to continuing our positive labor management relationship. Yes, Lord Crashington, they don't get that. Usually, unions would like notification. They would like obviously should be stated that unions don't want layoffs. They want restructuring. They want to negotiate. They want, but then also they try to protect the people that are in their union with severance packages and can you move people if you're going to close the studio? How many people can you move to other departments? Well, if we look at your job postings, how many of these job postings can you just fill by transferring? Because you're always trying to hire, and like, how can we get these people into that? And so they're looking at that. But also, yes, a lot of times union reps would like notification of that stuff ahead of time, so they can further help the people in their unions. I'm not talking about the exact unions that were calling out Microsoft for the layoffs. That was the CWA, who are the labor organizers that are working with ZeniMax Workers United. That's what I was referencing there. They had pretty much backed the idea of Microsoft purchasing and acquiring Activision because Activision was so anti-union, and Microsoft has been in the past and continues in the present to be union neutral. They are not forming unions. They are not necessarily encouraging unions, but they are not actively trying to suppress unions by saying things like, we're a big family here, and actually, you know, you want to be able to negotiate on your own. You don't want someone else deciding, and whatever dumb bullshit people say when they are union busting. There, as of now, Microsoft and you know has been basically, by saying they're doing a neutrality agreement, they're saying, hey, we are not going to fight you on this, but we would never tell a studio, hey, you should also unionize. Because no company is pretty much doing that. Some are, but very few. Very few would have anyone from legal being like, you know, if you unionized, it would probably benefit you and your fellow employees quite a bit. But anyway, that felt like somewhat good news, and I was happy to see it. Let's see, is there any wrestling stuff? I don't know. Oh, if you watch the third brand for AEW, Rampage, their 1 hour show that airs Fridays at 10 p.m. Usually it aired at 6:30 p.m. yesterday because of sports. Rampage is an hour of mostly inconsequential, sometimes consequential wrestling, but I like it. It's fun. It's a little looser than some of the other programming. Oh, we just got raided by Puppet Jared. Fuck yeah. Liver says, I love this kit. He's so small. Yes, the F91 is very small. You are not wrong. Hello, Raiders. I hope you had a great time playing. If I remember correctly, Puppet Jared was doing a stream with Jackbox. I believe that was a Jackbox stream, and I hope you're having a good time with that. Yes, we're building Gundam here. Let me go to this. Lord Crashington, I saw your redemption, and I will redeem that, but I won't do it right now because I need to say hello to friends that have joined us. But I did notice that, Lord Crashington, that did not slip outside of my eyes. Dirty hello and welcome. Hi. Very briefly, if you are new here, if you came in from Puppet Jared's stream, welcome. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits and Lego sets. We hang out here. We talk about anime. We talk about video games. We talk about wrestling. A bunch of things and things. We talked about AI tonight a little bit. Generally to dunk on some of that nonsense, but also to celebrate cool things that happen. And I build model kits when I do that. And then another thing that happened. Oh yes, I do have some. So this is my wall of box tops because I needed a background. I needed to build a background at one point. So I just took the tops off a lot of boxes that I built and stuck them with painter tape to the wall. And then I got a few model kits on display. Some of the recent ones and not so recent ones that I really like. Lots of, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, lots of Wing, because that was my first Gundam series that I fell in love with. And we're currently working on the F91. We are just about to body complete this kit. This is a kit from Gundam F91, which is a small little friend. That was I think the decision. Yes, Jared. I love the Death Scythe. It was my first. Here's the thing. I saw Wing when I was in my teens. I'm old. So I was in my teens when Gundam Wing came out. And the Death Scythe has forget beam swords, it's got a beam scythe. And the guy that pilots it is named Duo Maxwell, and he's not a priest, but he wears a collar. He wears a priest collar, and he's the god of death. He's the Shinigami. And hey, teenage Pat Baer thought that was the coolest shit in the world because he was our sarcastic guy, but also was the most human of all of the pilots. Because the wing pilots are all teenage boys who have all different levels of trauma. But one of them is funny about his trauma. Because the other ones are stoic because they are just stunted humans, or they are very emotional but trying their best not to show it, or they are sexist. One of them's just sexist. That's fun. They made the Chinese guy sexist. Isn't that neat? Anyway, that's just Gundam Wing. But yeah, I love the Death Scythe. I fell in love with that kit. This is the F91. We are now body complete on that. We've got weapons to build for it. But I love the Death Scythe so much that I had an emote made of me as a Death Scythe. We always build Death Scythes. When new Death Scythes come out, we build them on stream. Yeah, I would say the F91 movie is pretty good. I'm not the biggest F91 person, so I've been building model kits on stream. Now I build a lot more than I used to, but I started out building like fucking no, I've been doing it for about 6 years, and now I stream 3 times a week with model kit building. So a couple of years ago, I kind of ran out of kits that like I knew from shows that I watched consistently. And so I just started getting like stuff that I thought looked neat. And then I started watching the shows that I hadn't. Like, I barely have watched anything from G-Reco, Reconista in G. But I've now watched more of it. But there are some cool kits in that show. So I was like, I was building kits before I watched shows. Now I generally have watched everything, at least a little bit of everything from Gundam. So yeah, so G-Reco's stuff, actually, Lord Crashington, made me want to check the show out because the grunts in that show are particularly very cool. There's a dragon grunt in that show. I wanted to see what was up with it. That kind of got me. I started watching, I don't know, was there any other shows that I've watched because of that? F91 was something that I built an F91 kit, the master grade, before I built anything else. Before we get into working on other things from it, yes, sometimes you just see what's cool looking. Yeah, you should watch some Gundam. You should watch Witch from Mercury because that's the most recent one, and he is incredibly approachable. I should not approachable. Witch from Mercury, folks. If you were going to get into a Gundam series, Witch from Mercury is the one to get into because it's the most recent. So it is high def and it looks gorgeous. And also, it's a fish out of water story, which is a great introduction to people who are new to Gundam or new to mecha shows. Because Suletta, at least in the beginning, is just like trying to figure shit out. A good portion of Witch from Mercury is like an awkward girl trying to like make friends and figure shit out in school. It's just the school is a Gundam school. And also, well, mobile suit school, let's be real. And also, at one point, a girl is just like, well, now we're engaged. And Soletta's like, wait, what? And that girl's just like, ugh, come on, get with it. Like, yeah, girls could be engaged to girls. And then also there's murder and cool mechs and a great soundtrack. But it is a good introduction if you are just like, I don't fucking know what's going on with Gundam. That thing looks cool. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's not a good place to start. Believe me, I used to tell people to start with Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is still an excellent show. But Iron-Blooded Orphans is sad, and it's just sad. It's called Iron-Blooded Orphans, but yeah. Speaking of Witch from Mercury, here's the Calibarn. So here's the most modern of Gundam, like literally the last Gundam you see in the show. Here is a new Gundam next to the F91. They were like, what if we made the model kit small? Make the F91 small so we can use less plastic to make model kits. Like, that's basically what you've got here. You've got like, this is like the tiniest Gundam. And then speaking of Death Scythes, here's the Death Scythe, which is smaller than the Calibarn, but about average of its generation. Its generation of model kits is bigger than the F91. And also the Gundams in G Gundam, or so, Gundam Wing, I should say, a little small. 8th MS is my vote, but that's also the only series I own. I mean, 8th MS team is a really cool story within the larger world of Gundam. It's something you can definitely sink your teeth into. I like IBO because it's a widescreen HD anime. You know, it's like a modern anime, and for a while there, that was the one. Also, Iron Blooded Orphans understands the part about how that gets a little lost somewhere. You may have seen the meme where it is like, oh, cool robot, and you like miss the part where it's like war is bad, like it goes over your head. You may have seen that meme. Iron Blooded Orphans, you can't escape that. War is hell, and children should not be piloting mobile suits. That's like the big takeaway. Besides like finding your own destiny and dying for what you believe in and carving out your own reality when the face of impossible tasks and all of that. And then also there's a small little thing in there about like, I don't know, polyamory is pretty cool. Like that's in there. It's not a big thing, but it's definitely in there. But most of it is just like, hey, war sucks and these machines are awful. And why are we putting kids in them? That's Iron Blooded Orphans. Some of that, why are we putting teens in this, is missed in Witch from Mercury, in my opinion. Because Witch from Mercury is just like, hey, governments trying to kill everyone is bad. But also, corporations doing it sucks as well. And when corporations are government, that also sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? When two ladies find each other and fall in love. That's pretty great. So like, I don't know, Witch from Mercury, it's pretty good. That's what I'm saying. It's pretty good. Some might say it was my favorite anime of 2022 and 2023 because both halves came out in different years. Some might say that it was my favorite show of last year and the year before. I don't know who would say that, but it would probably be me. The guy that wrote that down and made a video where that was true. All right, we got to work on the weapons that go on the back of this kit. Yes, Lord Crashington, who would say such things? I should also, Lord Crashington used his channel points so that I would dance. Let me explain. I have channel points turned on here. You get those points for watching. You can use channel points to make stuff happen. And one of them is that I hit my dance button, and it is a song. Every month, a different song gets added to my stream deck. Dirty also redeeming, so we'll have double dances tonight. But yeah, I have a new song because it's a new month, and I just play this. Push the button. And this is a funky little number someone made on a computer and uploaded to various free use. Little guitar riffs come in. Yeah. It builds. The bass keeps going. It's good. It just builds, and it's a little loop. And that won't get me demonetized on YouTube or here on Twitch. I won't get a DMCA takedown anywhere, which is great. And I'm going to have to press the button again because Dirty also redeemed it. So here we go. It used to be the ska button for a while. And I would just have ska songs. And then it's been a dance button for like a year, 2 years now. And yeah, that's just a silly thing because channel points are often very silly. I have a few other things that you can get to happen with channel points, but to me, that's the most fun one. So thank you. There was a question from Dirty. Was it Macross or products that had a random civilian dies by taking a spent shell casing to the head? I want to say that's a Macross thing. I want to say that's a Macross. Or Lashwick says, you think it was F91? Yeah, that might be. F91 does have a couple fucked moments in it. Yeah, I mean, the basic thing is all Gundam series are trying to tell you that Gundams look incredibly awesome. We probably shouldn't have them. They probably shouldn't exist. That's kind of the point of all Gundam series, is like the solution to the problems caused by the thing that it is solving, and the escalation, and like, we probably don't need better versions of this, but also we do. And then also there's more. It's not just that. It's not just war is bad and we keep making the things that make war worse. It's also like there's also the exploration of space and the idea of people born in space have certain abilities. New types is a term. There's a lot of that. There is a lot of, well, the Earth is united, but it's only united against the space colonies pulling bullshit. And the space colonies are only united against Earth. And then there's a series where there's people on the moon and they fucking hate us. But one of the moon people doesn't hate us because he doesn't know why he's supposed to hate us. There's a lot. Topical, yes. Okay, yes, it's F91. Thank you, Lashbrook. How many dick robots do we need? Yeah, I mean, like, yes, why do we keep building? And then, like, the ball. They're so worried about war that they take a construction robot and put a big gun on its head. Or the gun tank, where they're like, put tank treads on a robot. That's our solution. We got to figure things out. Lots of nonsense. Lots of nonsense. But also, cool shit. And then, especially in the 90s, because I will say, in my opinion, a dramatic drop happened in Gundam when it comes to, like, cool music. Because I don't think Iron Blooded Orphans needed cool music. And then, like, the Gundam series that are focused more on young people, or Gundam, or Gunpla, Gundam builders, like Build Fighters and Build Divers, like, that stuff didn't really hit too hard. But oh boy, Gundam X, which is the least popular Gundam series that exists, Gundam X, the show that people were not into and did not love, God, bangers, just unbelievable music, just incredible music in that show. So good, because they needed to have something, and what they ended up with was great music. I am building these guns here on the back. I'm going to do my best with them. The instruction booklet here is small. This is a small instruction booklet, so I am doing my best to just kind of figure out what piece needs to go where, and then if I screw up, I'll figure that out pretty quickly, hopefully, and make it better for the next one when I work on the next gun. I watched an iceberg on Zeno Squad, and I think I was rooting for the wrong people in that show. That show was interesting. Where, yeah. One of the things I always loved about, like, it's American, but it definitely took a lot of influence from anime, is Exo Squad. Exo Squad is always interesting to me because it's like the artificially created aliens, or artificially created Martians, are the big enemy, except for the one that isn't supposed to, like, is working with them and is considered a traitor. But in reality, he led the first rebellion, which was the good rebellion. And this latest rebellion isn't a good rebellion. And that's being led by the guy that turned him in and sided with the humans in the first rebellion, because he wanted to do it shitty and not nice. There's a lot of weird politics in Exo Squad that I think a lot of people don't remember, because they were just like, oh, it's all these cool people and cool vehicle, like, armaments, and it looks rad as hell. Yes, Yes, dirty. The villains are a artificially created slave race that wants independence, but they want independence the wrong way. Because and then humanity fucked up because they could have granted them independence the right way, and now they have to stop them. But also the generic baddies, by the end of the episodes that aired on television, were even turning against their own kind to make new versions, and the new versions were like even more slave-like. The freed slave race was making their own slaves, and and the main villain couldn't even see the hypocrisy of that. So there again. When I watched back some of Exo Squad, I was like, holy shit, I missed out on a lot of this. I missed out on a lot of nuance to this show. And by nuance, I mean nuance I think the show also missed out on. Oh, I think this show thinks it's very smart. And I don't know if it is. I don't know if that's Puppet Jared, like... I don't know if that's like... Exo Squad might be visually too cool for the bad cartoon blocks. It's bad in like a different way. It's bad in like a, really? This is the thing you're making? Not in a, like, execution of Exo Squad is pretty cool. Like it turned out to be a pretty cool show when it got all things considered. But I don't think it gets there on like content. The one thing I would love for people to go see is, if I could recommend any cartoon for you to check out that is awful, but in a enjoyable way. And I don't usually truck in that. I don't truck in so bad it's good. That's just not my, that's not my vibe. That's not my thing. But I have been known to watch some things that are questionable. Beast Wars Season 2. Beast Wars 2. So Transformers Beast Wars 2. Not Beast Machines. The Transmetals. That's the secondary season show after Beast Wars. I'm talking about Beast Wars 2. The Japan only, not 3D show. So, Japan as a country, this is a generalization. They did not enjoy the American-made Transformers. Transformers Beast Wars, I should say. Beast Wars Transformers was not popular in Japan. They did not enjoy it. They made their own sequel series that is a comedy. It is not dubbed. It is only subtitled. It takes a lot of the characters, but draws them again. It adds a bunch of new characters. And basically, it has nothing to do with Beast Wars. So it is, but they call it Beast Wars, and it does have that. Yes, Flashback. Transmetals was that, but I'm talking about the Beast Machines, the sequel series that is back on when they're back on the original planet, and Megatron takes over, and a bunch of shit happens there. But that is fault. Transmetals were like, that was towards the end of Beast Wars. But this is a different thing, and it's bad because the jokes aren't good, and it's like, imagine you've really invested in a show, like if you really liked Beast Wars, which I did. I was a guy that liked Beast Wars, and you've been invested in the show, and it's, it's telling a little bit more of an adult story. And let's be real, some of the writers on that show were not super invested in Transformers, the entire universe of it, but they got into it as time went on. But when it started out, they were a little embarrassed on what they were working on, and the original property, which is maybe part of the reason why some people don't like that series that had grown up loving Transformers, but whatever. It's a good series. They did a good job with it. But yeah, it's a little more adult. It's got some cutting edge animation for the time. I think it doesn't always hold up, but it looks interesting. And then you just formally reject that, and you're like, what if all of the, like, there's like one character that's dumb as hell. There's two. They're like two dumb as hell villains in Beast Wars. What if all the villains were dumb as hell? And it was just jokes and goofiness and silliness. And all of it was comic relief. And that's Beast Wars 2. And it's really bad. I would recommend that if you are a purveyor of bad cartoons, if that is a thing that you enjoy. I think it is. Some of it was on YouTube. I don't know if it still is. It's been a while since I watched any of it. I had a friend that introduced me to it and was very happy to show me bad Transformers, because she loves Transformers, but she also loves when it is really terrible. So she wanted to make sure I saw that. God, it's not the worst Transformers though. God, what is kissing girl, which is the one where they kiss girls. God, that's such a terrible thing. But there is Transformers Kiss Players. That's what it is. God damn it. God damn it, that's the worst thing that exists in the world. It's just awful. That's actually the worst thing. So I should say, don't with that one. Beast Wars 2, terrible and enjoyable. Transformers Kiss Players, actually awful, and you should not investigate it. It only lasted for a year, and it is just the fucking worst. It was a manga and a radio drama and a toy line. It was not animated. They did not animate it. But Kiss Players, Kiss Cassettes is the worst. The idea is that, like, kisses from young ladies makes you more powerful. It was an incredibly misguided attempt to sell Transformers to girls, Japanese girls, because of preconceived notions that boys like robots and girls don't like robots, which is so wrong. It's just it's inaccurate, right? Like, yes, if we are saying that we are putting stuff in front of people and we're telling them that they don't like that, men and women and non-binary folks and people on this on all parts of the spectrum like what they like and don't like what they don't like, and to say that to gender that is silly, yes, I agree. That is some silly shit to gender folks that way. Just let people like what they like. But their misguided belief was boys like robot shit, girls don't like robot shit. But if you do a thing where you have, like, you kind of make it cutesy, you make it a little magical girl, then maybe girls will get interested in it. And that was a terrible attempt to bridge the gap, because instead all you have to do is make cool shit and people will find your cool shit. I mean, we still see that today in like, that's still a running gag in One Piece. One Piece still has a running gag that, like, a cool Frankie will build a thing and every guy will be like, holy shit. And then, like, Nami and Robin will be like dead-eyed. I mean, when they did that at Punk Hazard, and all the little boys that had been experimented on were just, like, so fucking psyched, and all the girls were just like, Was that a reindeer? Hell yeah. What's going on with this reindeer? What's up with this cute animal? Like, that shit is a running gag, yes, but it also is this preconceived opinion that is still, like, held that, oh yeah, you know, like, that's a boy thing and that's a girl thing. Yeah, so, as I said, their incredible solution to that problem of how do we sell Transformers to girls is, what if Megatron wanted to kiss a girl to get more powerful? And we'll just make that a thing that exists. It was poorly received. But not as poorly received as you would think. Like it didn't do well, but it didn't do as badly as it should have. Because there are still going to be people that collect Transformers no matter what. So they still did it. And who knows? Who the fuck knows? Maybe that incredibly weird thing was popular enough to get some people on board to at least, like, investigate what's so cool about this thing. Should I spend any time or energy or money on this thing? Maybe it did do that. Maybe it became a curiosity. This sticker is very difficult to put on. So we're working on the back guns here, and the back guns are supposed to have a little bit of blue on it. And so I am attempting to put these stickers on down the middle here. And I am trying to put it on, and then it has to bend and curve, which are the worst kinds of stickers. It's also like a bad time to do this. The end of a stream for me is definitely a bad time to be applying stickers, but we'll do our best with it. All right, I finally got that on. It's not perfect, but it, like, I can kind of, now that I've gotten the bottom part on, I can use my X-Acto blade to kind of pull this back up and then try to slowly do, yeah. I'm not going to get this perfect, but also it kind of doesn't need to be perfect. I used to, when I first started building, even on stream, when I first started building, I would just do the eye stickers, and I wouldn't do any other stickers. I wouldn't do color correcting stickers at all. Like the F and the 91 on here are stickers. I wouldn't have applied them. I did the eyes because the kits looked bad without the eyes. Like, that was always my opinion, was like, oh, this doesn't look good without eyes on it, so I'll put on some eyes. I definitely got better at applying stickers. I'm not perfect when it comes to it, but I do try to put them all on there. And I will attempt the water slides and the dry transfers. I will try those because they do also make a kit look better when they're on there. All right, so this also is going to bend and fold over. We're going to try to do this one. But because I don't particularly care about stickers as much as some other people do, I don't go out of my way. Like, I don't have the sprays that kind of set them. I don't treat the surface first to clean up any, like, oils from your hands. Like, some people will treat the plastic first to clean it up. You know, use literally. I know a guy who uses, like, he'll clean the plastic, he'll, like, buff everything out, he'll then scrub it with a little sandpaper to kind of make it so there's more for it to stick to, then he'll use the clear coat over it to kind of set all the stickers, and I can't be bothered with that. I think that level of dedication whips ass, but that's not me. Let's see. I'm going to, we were going to talk about an anime that I've been watching. I'm going to save that for Monday, but I am going to talk about a manga that I have been reading, because I want to chat about that. This is a segment that I refer to as that time I only had one anime to talk about, so I talked about a manga I've been reading as well, a true light novel idea. But I'm going to talk to you about a bit about a series called After School Labyrinth Adventurer. And this is it's an isekai, but it is not a trapped in another world. It is one of the rare traveling back and forth between worlds isekai. There are not a lot of those. Most of them are I died and I got reborn in another place, or some sort of portal happened, or I'm a chosen one and they asked me to come to this world. That is more common than this, which is this dude he can just travel. He can travel between different worlds, and it's his misadventures. Our dude Akira is a high school student, and I didn't realize how young he was until I just thought he was small, but no, he is a young man, and he is in a labyrinth city, and he kind of treats it like an after-school job. Should make this clear. This was not clear to me when the series started, but recent chapters let me know that his mom is not aware that her son goes to labyrinths and uses magic to defend himself and treasure hunts and hangs out with people. She is not aware of that part of her son's life, which because she would probably not want him to do it. But yeah, let's see. What can I tell you about this particular series? He can travel back and forth between Japan and another world, and he does not have any goal in mind. So basically, like, he just spends his time after school in dungeons, trying to get stronger, trying to eat cool meals, and go to that's one of his big things is to earn money to then buy cool otherworldly meals and hang out with people. To not get caught up in nonsense. He does often get caught up in nonsense because he can make potions, so people want his time, and people want to hang out with him, have him join his party and all that, and that's just annoying, so he doesn't really want to do that. But yeah, he has a lot of friends, and it's pretty chill. Like, occasionally there's some stuff that's a little heavy, but it's rarely super heavy. It's mostly pretty goddamn chill. Things get weird for him because there's references to a teacher. He's got a teacher. Someone showed him how to use magic and taught him how to survive in the dungeon, and occasionally shows up again and kind of wants to challenge him and figure out like what's going on and teach him more. And it's very like Spartan teaching. It's a lot of like, well, can you survive this thing? Use what I taught you. She seems to be kind of a nightmare and might be a witch, or at the very least, she is a magician, but she might be like a demon or something. There's a little bit more going on there, and it's interesting because it's like he's both grateful for her, but also hates how she's teaching him and wishes that she would like be more chill and cool. But that does not seem to be her MO, because she is seems to have some sort of enjoyment in his suffering and like testing him. And I'm not fully convinced if she knows that he is from another world or not, but I think she might know. It is a pretty chill show, or book, I should say. After School Labyrinth Adventurer. Do I think this is going to get an anime adaptation? I don't think so. The more chill slice of life style isekai adventure shows generally are also harem shows or have lots of fluffy animals. That's usually how those get adapted into an anime. The like dungeon crawling ones don't always get the bump because they are, they're a little generic. Like, this is just like, I don't know, kind of fun, but like it's not a comedy. And it certainly isn't like every episode an action series. It's mostly just like, I don't know, like I said, it's a supernatural slice of life, which I think is enjoyable, but I understand why it wouldn't be for everybody. And that's just something I'm reading. I like to keep up with, have people know what I'm reading when I check stuff out. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm reading right now. Lots of action stuff. Isekai, the otherworldly adventures, are definitely things that I'm always interested in. So I kind of always keep an eye on what's going on in those. But I also read some romantic comedy stuff, dating stuff, and occasionally, if an anime really strikes me, I will go and read the manga. If I hadn't read the manga before the anime, before I watched the anime, I should say, either because it wasn't available or I was unaware, or in the case of like Windbreaker, I didn't know that I would think that manga, like I really want to read that manga because the anime whips ass. So like I'm really enjoying Windbreaker. And so like when this is done, when the season is done, I'll go and read the manga because I don't want to get past the anime. I want to kind of, you know, right now I'm experiencing it without any like, oh, well, it happens different like this. The same thing with Kaiju number 8. I know that Kaiju number 8 is kind of like jumping around a little bit and has rewritten some stuff from the manga, which I'm not opposed to because I didn't read the manga. If I had read the manga, I could see myself getting mad and being frustrated. But because I haven't read the manga, it's just an anime I like. Then I'm like, I wonder if they added more gags or took away gags. Because it's one or the other. Either they've added a lot more jokes or they took out a lot of jokes. And I can't tell which it is. But I know they must have done something. Because I know some people are not pleased with Kaiju number 8, the anime, because they have... They have read it and they have a lot of love for it. That actually might be a fun. That might be a fun episode of chapter of Pepper's Anime Club episode. Well, why did I say chapter? The joy of being anime only. That might be a cool video. I'm writing that down to see if I want to do that later. Pat Bear's Anime Club. I'll just put some links in the chat right now. If you haven't watched this most recent Pat Bear's Anime Club, please check that out. I talk about how there are 7 shows this anime season that are in their 3rd season and how that's a really rare thing. Getting a 3rd season is rare enough, but to have 7 shows this season that are all in their 3rd, that's wild. So I talked about that, talked about the shows, and if I'm watching them or not, and kind of like a little bit about each of them. And then... it's now June, but for the month of May, every week, I was recommending a different anime from the 2000s. I have a weekly anime recommendation series called Kuma Baer, because my last name is Baer, and Baer in Japanese is Kuma. There's an anime called Kuma Baer. So that's the title. But yeah, I talked about Mushishi. Mushishi is a phenomenal, gorgeous series. It is an underrated show from the 2000s that I think has definitely flown under a lot of people's radar when they talk about their favorite shows from that decade. It is just a not always chill slice of life episodic show about a guy investigating the Mushi and how they're affecting people, and trying to like research them and solve some problems and deal with his own stuff. And it is gorgeous and sometimes very surprising. Oops, I missed a piece, y'all. I missed a piece on this kit. I can't believe that. I was just looking at it now. We went body complete on this kit, and I was like, this front looks weird. And there's a very good reason why the front of this kit looks weird. It's because as I was building this part, we got raided and I got distracted. And there's a whole front. We missed the whole front butt of this thing. I got to panel line this and then put it on. That's wild that I just completely missed the front armor. I did think it looked weird. I mean, the F91 does have some weird parts to it, but it's not that weird. I would love to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you into? Any video games? You watching anything on streaming or on TV? Is your hockey team doing well? I don't know. Your basketball team? Excuse me. I'm going to sneeze probably at some point. Let me know. Bless me. Let me know what you're into and up to. I always like to hear from that. I am getting ready to try a mode in Hearthstone that I have not played in a while. There is a new season of Twist, which is, like it says, it takes rules from Hearthstone and twists them. And there's a new season of it. It's going to be out for 2 months. That seems interesting. So I'm going to try that out. But it's the start of a new month, so today I just spent time trying to get some wins in with some of my decks and try to rank up. I ended up in Platinum 4 in Wild. I was trying to get higher. I was trying to get to Platinum 1 at least, but I ended up in Platinum 4 for the month of May, which is still, for me, pretty fucking good. So I'm going to keep going with that. But yeah, I want to hear from you right in the chat if you're playing any video games or anything, doing anything out there. I always like to hear from people about what they're up to and the like. Let's see, any other games from your friend Pat that I'm playing? Helldivers 2, still playing Helldivers with the crew. The crew is fully off of my friends who like playing multiplayer games. There is one holdout who is still trying to rally us to play X Defiant, but that has been drowned out by the people that don't want to fucking play X Defiant anymore. So we are back to Helldivers 2 almost exclusively. There are a couple of us that still do Overwatch 2, but for the most part, we are a Helldivers 2 crew. But there is talk of some other things, so we can check this out and go back there. And I do have one friend that does consistently, I should say, not constantly, consistently, he's like always on the hunt for new stuff and always trying to get us to check out new things. So we'll see if we get moved on to anything else. I have not checked out any demos. Some people were putting their demos out early for Steam Next Fest, which is going to coincide with Summer Game Fest. But I have not checked out any of those games. I did get an email about a game that looked pretty cool that I might check out. Gordlitz. Gordlitz is actually coming out this summer, and there is a demo for it. They literally we put an idle window mode so that you could just have it running in the background. It'll be okay if you want to do other stuff. But yeah, there's a demo there for Gordlitz that looks kind of neat. It's a low pressure city builder, which kind of seems neat, and I have requested a code for it. I have requested a code for that game to play it because I think that would be a fun game to play on stream in the future. But I do appreciate that right now there are a few indie game publishers that want to send me codes, or at the very least advertise to me, and then maybe will send me codes, but at least keep me in mind. And that is a place that I want to be at. I want to be at a place where indie devs and indie publishers are sending me codes, because that's cool. And that's how I find out about some of these games, right? Is people, I hear about them on podcasts, and sometimes folks recommend it to me, or I'm in some gaming discords, and I think that is neat. But occasionally, they're just out there, just I don't know, hey, so you want to check this out? Like Summer House. Summer House was such a fun little game. I played it 3 times. I streamed it, and the most time I played into it was when I streamed it. It's really fun, and that was hey, do you want a code for this game? And I was like, yes, I do want a code for this game. I hadn't heard about it. And then I think the week after I said yes to the code, I saw a demo of it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is definitely something I want to stream. I don't know. I'm happy to be in that place. I'm going to read what y'all have been writing now. Lord Crashing got new Namco branded Picross game with some sprite-based puzzle fun for variation arcade properties I have no familiarity with, since about half the game's reference were Japanese only. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get a game that is referencing all of these classic games, and you're they are not classic for me. Ghostfell says, just about done with Elden Ring until the DLC. Been working outside in a shed. 70%. Hell yeah, Ghostfell. Lots of minor plans fell through, but hopefully less crazy soon. I hope so too. And then also, John, thanks Lord Crashing did for. Dirty is still watching NCIS. Beat Jedi Survivor. Almost finished with the Final Fantasy main story quest before Down Trail drops at the end of the month. Started playing American Truck Simulator today. Hell yeah. Enjoy your American Truck Simulator. That's awesome. Lashberg also played some ATS because of the Nextlander stream. You're in a virtual debut, but now my truck is Bayverse Optimus Prim. Okay. I assume you mean Optimus Prime. You're like the Michael Bay style Optimus Prime is your truck? Okay. But if you're also calling it Optimus Prim so you don't get sued, I think that's understandable. Lord Christian liked the demo for Dungeons and Dragons Gamblers. That is Blackjack meets Balatro. And it's very cool. You're basically playing Blackjack against a variety of people with normal cards and weird cards that fuck with your expectations. Yeah, you mistyped. Okay, I assumed you did. That sounds neat. Constantly updating demo like it's an early access game. All right. Oh, it's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. When I see Dungeons and, I immediately just my head fills in dragons. I thought it was Dungeons and Dragons Gamblers, which I was going to say, that's a bad name. No, it's Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. I am going to check that demo out. That sounds like it might be pretty fucking cool. So what do we have left with this kit? We've got the other big weapon. We've got the beam sabers and the beam shield and our final sticker. And then we have the fins that come out of these things pop out and then other ones go in. And the reason why when I built the shoulders, I didn't understand how these worked is because these are the these are the small ones, the funnels, and then there's like larger funnel things that go in. So yeah, right now we have the underguns, which I love the look. I love the idea of a backpack with guns, but it's not over the shoulder, it's under. They slide in like this. That is silly in a way that I like. I've always found that silly in an enjoyable way. And then just go back on there. But they're not meant to go like this, which you would think that they would like pop over the shoulders, but no, they don't pop over the shoulders. They pop under. That's silly. But yeah, we're almost body complete on this kit, which is again so fucking small compared to the most modern Gundam that I have in my collection, the Calibarn, because they're technically are more modern because there's the Gundam Metaverse kits, but I don't have any of the Gundam Build Metaverse kits. I don't have any of those. So the Calibarn is my most recent kit that I have. But yeah, we are basically done with this kit. We are almost complete with it on 2 streams. We're going to finish it on Monday. The rest of Monday will be spent working on a Lego set. I got a Lego set that I will be building on Monday when this kit is complete. That'll be the next thing because I'm going to finish this up on Monday stream and then start the Lego 3-in-1 retro camera. So we'll build a camera and a TV and a camcorder out of Lego, all from the same box. That's going to be real fun. But that's the future. And in the present, we're going to raid. We had a great raid here from Jake, which I really appreciate. And we are going to, Puppet Jared, I should say. As John says, we always end with a raid. We're going to find somebody doing cool shit out there and go and give them a little bit of love. We're going to go see who is streaming right now that we want to go hang out with, because we do always end with a raid. How long has this person been streaming? Holy shit. So I don't know how much longer they're going to go, but they've been streaming for 10 hours and we are not going to raid them because 10 hours is too many hours. What are you talking about? That's too many hours, y'all. Let's go hang out with TQ. TQ is currently playing, let's see. Yeah. TQ is playing Palia. We have raided TQ in the past here, so we're gonna go give TQ a raid, see what she's there and up to. She's raising some money for a rescue. I believe it's a rabbit rescue. So we want to go and support her and hang out. and hang out with TQ playing a cozy video game. So let's go give TQ a raid. Feel free to come along in this raid. I would appreciate it very much. If you're able to come hang out. If you can't donate to the charity she's raising money for, just hang out. It'll be fun. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Come back on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, as I finish this kit and start a cool Lego set. Thank you very much for being here. Hope to see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.